Hi everyone, William Ha here again from Elite Gen Magazine, and this week I'm driving the Acura Integra Type S. So this is a super cool car. It only comes in a 6-speed manual transmission, so if you want an automatic Integra, you're going to have to settle for the less powerful A-spec variants, because this thing's a beast. It's got 320 horsepower from a 2-liter turbo engine, and it's got 310 pound-feet of torque, so it could accelerate from 0 to 100 kilometers in just over 5 seconds. So it's plenty fast. You have the control, and it handles amazingly. It's very, very fun to drive. And this Integra Type S is essentially the Acura version of the Honda Civic Type R. So it's more suited for road driving and less so track focused. And it's styled a little bit more conservatively to appeal to a wider audience. But it's a beautiful design overall and fairly modern. And we're going to go into a little bit more detail on the styling and interior features. So keep watching. This is the side view. You can see nice little defining lines that give the vehicle shape. Now, what I really like is the fact that you've got these wider fenders. So on the front, they're actually welded on as a one-piece fender, which is nice as opposed to a stick-on. You've got sport brakes and 2-piece rotors, and these are 19-inch rims. Square setup. And in the back, you don't have sport brakes. You don't even have vented brake discs, just a regular looking caliper. So it would have been nice to have sport brakes in the back, but the rear view is very nice. You can really see the lines that kind of go up with the shoulders, and a rear valance is built onto the rear bumper, and you can see that there are 3 exhaust outlets, and this is an active exhaust, so it sounds really nice when you put it in sport mode. Again, the rear quarter angle looks really nice, really strong and menacing with those wide fenders. And even from the front, it looks nice. Again, you can see the lines. The hood is sculpted. The grille is blocked out. You've got those jewel eye headlights. And it's a really nice design overall. Some of the other details I like are the fact that you have a one-piece door handle as opposed to 2 pieces where you have that separation. On the roof, you've got laser brazing, so it looks more clean. And when you're filling gas, you no longer need to worry about a gas cap because it's got a capless fuel filler. It's a nighttime view of the car. See, there's nicely designed taillights. There's 10 of those little bars. LED license plate light. We go across to the front. Got really nice LED lighting with the jewel eye headlights. These lights actually perform really well at night. Let's step inside the interior now. So you got an all-digital gauge cluster here. If you change your drive modes, you've got 4 modes altogether. There's Sport Plus, there's Sport Comfort, and then there's also an individual mode as well where you can customize your own settings for your suspension and your steering. But it's a little snug in here, but it's still reasonably comfortable. You've got these mesh design vents that really stand out. Got this red leather. And what I really like is the fact that you've got a sunglasses holder still. So there's no sunroof for body rigidity. And this is an incandescent light, unfortunately. It does come out. The storage space under the armrest is actually pretty deep, so you can put quite a lot of things under there. That's a medium cup of coffee for reference. You get a 10.2-inch all-digital gauge cluster, and using the roller switches on both sides of the steering wheel, you can go into some of your menu items there. So on the left side, you can select some of your media features, and then on the right side, it's more of your driver assist features. So it's customizable, and if you switch drive modes, the gauges will change too. And if we move to the middle, it's a touch screen, thankfully. And it's 9 inches, it's not that big, but the good thing is that the resolution is decent, it's snappy, and it's intuitive. That's really important too. You always have to learn on your own a little bit, but it's pretty easy to find certain features. So in this case here, I can go into some of the driver assist features, and then I can either turn them on or turn them off accordingly. So it's pretty easy to use and find stuff. You get knobs and some buttons too. And then you also have a wireless phone charger. Oh, just getting in the back seat there, I had to duck a little bit because it's got a sloping roof line, right? So there's not a whole lot of headroom back here. I'm 5'8", so I'm not even that tall. But when I lean my head back, there's just enough clearance. I'm not quite touching, but there's very little space. So somebody who's 6 feet might struggle a little bit back here. And because there's so little headroom, it makes sense that there are no height adjustment for the rear headrests. And because it's a 4-seater, you don't have a seatbelt in the middle, and you don't even have an armrest either, actually. You only have your cup holders here. There's 2 that are built into the seat cushion. So this vehicle is focused on performance, so there's not too much emphasis placed in rear seat comfort, which is pretty obvious. So there's no vents. There are no USB ports, and there's no heated function for the rear seats as well. And there's also no front seat back pocket to hold little things. And the other thing I also noticed was the fact that it's hard plastics on the door panels, whereas up front there's soft touch material. So I think there's a little bit of cost cutting back here, but there's nothing more to report in the back here other than the fact that it's pretty basic. Legroom's decent at least, but you're going to struggle a little bit with headroom, and there's not a whole lot of amenities back here. Now, cargo space is a strength of this Integra. You've got this wide open loading space because of the lift back design. It's a really deep trunk, and you have small storage compartments underneath the floorboard. And you get LED lights, one on each side, which is helpful for nighttime, and then a little side pocket there. So here are my final thoughts on the Acura Integra Type S. It's a specialty vehicle. It's a very niche vehicle that'll appeal to a very narrow group of car enthusiasts. I don't think it'll be all that appealing to people who are used to German vehicles or who like European vehicles. This is a vehicle for people who are fans of the Acura brand, or maybe Gen Xers and older people who remember the original Integra from their youth, and they want to, I guess maybe for nostalgia, they want to buy a vehicle like this. But it's a phenomenal driving vehicle. It's so fun to drive. It has that 6-speed manual transmission, and it just handles so well. And as I mentioned earlier, it's essentially just a Honda Civic Type R in a more refined package with more restrained styling, but I think the styling looks good overall. So not a lot of people may know this, but Acura was actually the first Japanese premium brand in North America. So this was way back in 1986, and they beat Lexus and Infiniti by 3 years. And in that time, they introduced the Acura Legend and, of course, the Integra. And that Integra gained the respect of car enthusiasts because it was affordable and it was fun to drive, and it featured a lot of technologies that were not very common in that time among the affordable performance car class, such as fuel injection and a 5-speed manual transmission, because back in the 80s, it was more common for manual transmission vehicles to only feature 4 speeds. So over time, Acura kept improving on that Integra, and I think peak Integra would have been when the Integra Type R was introduced in the 90s. I was a teenager in that time, and I remember that car really well. It was so fun to drive. It had a crazy red line. I think it was somewhere close to 8,000 RPMs or above. And even in this new Integra, even though it's turbocharged, its red line is still at 7,500. So it still captures some of the high revving spirit of that older Integra Type R. But it's a storied name. It's a very important model within the Acura family because of its identity of high performance and fun to drive factor. And I think this new vehicle really captures the original spirit and takes it up a notch in terms of its power delivery and some of the new technologies. It's really well equipped with all the safety and driver assist features for greater peace of mind. So even though it's a niche vehicle that'll appeal to mostly Acura or Japanese car enthusiasts, I do think that if you're thinking about shopping for a Golf R or maybe even the Elantra N and maybe the Subaru WRX, this vehicle is worth checking out. It only comes in a manual transmission, so you have to like driving manual, but it's really well equipped overall, and I think it's a winner. I think Honda and Acura did a phenomenal job bringing this vehicle back. They didn't screw it up like how some car manufacturers could with storied nameplates. So I hope this video helped. Give it a like if you found that it did help you, and thank you very much for watching. I'll be driving more vehicles in the new year, and I'll be posting up more videos of other premium cars. Thanks very much again.